guys probably need headphones for you to hear me, right? Oh. Alright, so I just got off work few hours ago. It was at 4 o'clock, about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes ago. First thing I did when I came home was look for an upload or a replay of the fight, and found it, and sorry I found it. I should probably be going to bed right now, but I have to. I feel like I have to catch my immediate post-fight reactions. Not because I'm going to be particularly articulate, but because I feel a lot of bad emotion towards boxing right now. Like, I love boxing. It's the only sport I love to watch. But when shit like this happens, I don't want to say I love it less, but it's sort of like that. I mean, we've all seen some bad decisions over the past few years, right? We've seen them. We hate them. We hate those decisions. We hate that Paul Williams beat Erislandy Lara, even though Lara clearly won the fight. We hate that Marquez, through 3 close fights with Pacquiao, hasn't got one single nod. You know, we hate that Winky Wright lost to Fernando Vargas. It was a long time ago, Nap. Yeah, I know. Just to touch on recent topics. But this was worse than Lara versus Williams, simply because it was much the same to me in that Bradley could not get away from Pacquiao's left hand. His face was a magnet. Oh, and his body too, by the way. But mostly his face was a magnet for the Pacquiao left hand through the majority of this fight. And Pacquiao was a lot more active than Lara and hit with a lot more punches. He was headhunting, but he still put in some body shots. And you can't just ignore that. This is the worst robbery I've seen since coming to YouTube. The worst. Hands down. Now, I know I've said I won't defend Manny Pacquiao anymore. But when it's something like this, I have to put my personal issues with his social opinions. I have to put that shit aside. Look at this fight as 2 fighters who are fighting for a world championship. How in the fuck do you give that fight to Tim Bradley? I'm not usually, I would say somebody has to explain this to me, but no, there is no justifiable explanation. There's no way you can justify this atrocity on the scorecards. Even the judge who had it for Pacquiao, was that Roth, was being generous to Bradley. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I gave Bradley the 2nd round, the 10th round, and the 11th round. Now, I think that's being generous with the 2nd. I think he edged the 2nd. I think he didn't clearly win the 10th. I think he won the 10th, but I have to watch it again because Pacquiao might have won the 10th round. I thought he clearly won the 11th, Bradley. That's the only round I really see clearly that Bradley won, is the 11th round. Round 1, 3 through 9, and the last round I gave to Pacquiao. The last round was close. A lot of these rounds were competitive, but clearly Pacquiao's rounds. You know, usually I can sit here and think of lots of things to shit talk about, but right now I'm just sad for boxing. For all the people who don't really watch boxing much and were told to watch this fight because it could be a good fight. It was a pretty good fight. Much like Mayweather-Cotto was a pretty good fight. But one person clearly won the fight and they did not get the victory. How the fuck can you explain that to somebody? And yeah, I've seen UK Wing Chun's video, and I think I watched Julian Foster's too, but as far as UK, yeah, I'm saying, echoing pretty much what, a sentiment that he said in that video. How can you look at people that you yourself as a boxing fan have told, you know, to watch this fight, have tried to get conversation about boxing, Pacquiao Mayweather, going with a casual fan, trying to get them to, you know, pay attention to the sport, because American, you know, boxing in America is not that fucking popular, and it really should be. There's a lot to love about boxing, but this shit that happened tonight, Timothy Bradley split decision, this is not one of those things you love about boxing. Bradley got outworked in a lot of rounds. He got counterpunched in some rounds. He got hit, I think, every single round, damn near. If you point to just the most effective shots, period, it's always going to be Pacquiao. And then most of those rounds, Pacquiao outworked him too. Yeah, they were competitive because Bradley's a top-level fucking fighter. But to me, they were clearly on two different, you know, levels. You know, this is, Timothy Bradley is a fighter, but Pacquiao is what we consider elite, and he showed it. He didn't edge out this fight. He clearly won this fight, and they gave it to Timothy Bradley. You know, this is one of those times where I'm so against conspiracy theory. I'm so, you know, so skeptical when it comes to that shit. But all three of the, I mean, I know we're saying it's a split decision, but 115 to 113, really? You gave Bradley 5 fucking rounds? Where? Where are those 5 fucking rounds? Got to be fucking kidding me. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way he won 5. I really can't see an argument for 4. I think I'm generous with giving him 3. A lot of people only have him winning 2. What do you say to this? You know, there has to be, we go through this every time there's a robbery. How do we as fans get to stop this shit? How do we voice our opinions in a way to where it will have an effect? I know that sounds silly and cliche, but you mean to tell me that these 3 judges, especially the 2 who gave it to Bradley, are going to be allowed to go on and score other fights? And the one who scored it for Pacquiao, that was still generous to Bradley, wasn't he involved in the bullshit decision that gave Rios the fight just a little while ago against what, Avril? Why are these judges still here? Why do we still see their names in big fights? If they're not going to get suspended or fired, or I don't know, then at least bump them back down to the fucking, you know, pre-ESPN fucking 6-rounders or something, where they don't have to strain their brains to watch a 12-round fight and score it correctly. I don't as Slideways 100 recently said about Tarver Coyote, if you scored that fight for Tarver, you don't know shit about scoring. If you scored this fight for Timothy Bradley, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't know shit about scoring a boxing match. I've never fought a boxing match a day in my life, but I've paid attention. I have eyes. I have eyes. I can see. Anybody who can literally see the fight has no excuse for scoring it for Bradley. Don't come here talking that shit. I'll block you immediately. I don't fucking care how anybody feels about it. If you scored it for Bradley and you come here with that bullshit, I'm not even going to comment back to you. You just blocked and removed, and I'm not fucking with that. There's no justifiable explanation, like I said. There's no fucking way Timothy Bradley won that fight. Now, I gotta go to fucking bed. I have to go to bed. But on a final note, So what happens now? So there's a rematch. I wouldn't support a rematch. There's no need for a fucking rematch. There's no need for a rematch when one person clearly fucking wins. There's no reason for Butte to have a rematch with Froch. There's no reason for Cotto to have a rematch with Floyd Mayweather. There's no reason for Timothy Bradley to have a rematch with Manny Pacquiao, because Pacquiao clearly won the goddamn fight. Clearly. I don't want to see a rematch. It was a decent fight, but I don't want to see it. Fuck Top Rank. Usually I'm not like this. I don't get into the fucking promotions and all this shit, but something is fucking foul here. Something is foul. I just can't see a set of 3 straight judges that aren't being corrupted in some way, not giving this fight by a fairly lopsided points victory to Manny Pacquiao. I know opinions are like assholes, and everyone has got them, and they all stink, but this fight, this score, it hits me in the soul of my boxing fandom soul. Manny's not even one of my favorite fighters. It's just seeing a fighter like that get robbed. So, I mean, Laura is not really one of my favorite fighters, but seeing him get robbed against Williams was fucking hard. This is worse. This is absolutely worse. Alright, I gotta go to bed. Probably hear more from me tomorrow before I go back to work, because I want to watch the undercards and I want to watch the fight again, but I'm telling you, there's no possible way Bradley won that fight. Fucking deuces.